How's it going, homies and homiettes? You know who it is, yours truly, King of Charisma, Shaman Swagger, Carter James, the Nilix Master, coming to you live from my dad's place in Park City, Utah, ready to do that video blog that I promised. To begin with, as I've probably said on my Facebook, in fact, what I know I said on my Facebook, I'm not going to be degrading, shaming, using, abusing, or saying anything disrespectful towards women in this blog. I never have done that in my previous blogs, and I will never do that in my blogs from here on out. So with that being considered, in understanding my nature, my very politically incorrect, very unorthodox, and very strange way of living my life, as many have come to put it, there will be some things that I will say that will probably be nerve-striking, that will probably, make people think a certain way when I really don't feel that way at all. I hope that makes sense, because the majority of the time I have a difficult time really feeling it internally more so than I express it externally, because I'm a very outwards person when it comes to my opinions. There have been some people who have voiced concerns, whether it be through Facebook, through emails, or otherwise, explaining why I should not do this video blog, and I can understand the concerns. But I believe with a clear conscience that this is something I really want to do, and something I really want to voice and discuss, considering that I worship women in my way. I mean, it's kind of ironic how, because I've been in such very interesting circumstances, being in 5 bands, being an actor, starred in porn, that I might come across as a person who has little regard for women, due to the occupation and due to what I want to engage in. And that's completely and utterly untrue. I love women with a passion. I do, and I've been voicing my opinions on that for quite some time, and how I've explained that when it comes to women, I'm not a nice guy to them, I'm not a bad boy to them, I'm just Carter to them. And of course, I think that kind of makes people very baffled. Okay, Carter, well, explain why you're always getting friend-zoned, or why you're always like this, and this, or like this, and that. And I can understand all of that, but that's irrelevant. Why? Because I want to do everything I can in this blog to dissect and hopefully comprehend women and why they are the way they are, especially in this Western world culture. To begin with, it seems as if women have extremely different needs than us guys do. Of course, we don't, get our periods. We don't have to worry about our time of the month. We don't have to worry about, ever getting pregnant while we're, on the job. We don't have to worry about, of course, if we gain weight, or if we look a certain way, or if we don't put on makeup, we're either criticized out in public, or if we wear something sexy or too sexy, we're considered a slut, a bitch, or a whore. Guys don't have to worry about that. Think of it this way: when a woman sleeps with when a guy sleeps with 100 women, he's considered a stud. But when a woman sleeps with 100 guys or more, she's considered a slut. And that's in our culture. It's evident. It's in your face constantly. You can't get the fuck away from it. And I think that women have a more difficult time with their status and their status quo and their stature, more so than us guys do. With us guys, I think we have to worry more about our masculinity, our power, our alpha, in our manly ways. Because if we don't show that 110% of the time, we're either considered wusses, sissies, bitch men, you name it. Just all the most degrading names you could think of. But there's more degrading names for women more than anything else. Bitch, slut, hoe, kike, dyke, whatever. Well, kike, I think, is a racial term from what I remember. I hate that word. But I'm just saying, I'm using these terms as examples. I'm not calling women that. I'm just saying, you hear it all the time. Bitch, slut, hoe, skank, cunt, you name it. I mean, the names are never ending. And I can understand why some women, I believe, with their intuitive mindset, women have intuition, of course, because you ladies are the child bearers. It seems as if you have that natural intuition to know when something's wrong or when something's going on, especially when it comes to another one of your fellow females. You can sense when something's wrong. And you see it all the time, where even if it's on reality television shows, you can see, you know, when a girl's crying in the corner, oh my God, he hates me, or he said that to me at the party, or, you know, and stuff like that. And you see the girl comforting her, whether that's scripted or not. You know, I'm using Real World for example, or maybe Keeping Up with the Kardashians when something goes wrong with that family, or recently R.I.P. Joan Rivers. You know, like you know, Joan knows best. You know, with her and her daughter. And when you see shows like that, whether they're scripted to cue cards or otherwise, they do show a really awesome example of how women do interact with each other. And whether it's a cat fight, whether it's an emotional moment, whether it be a very touchy-feely moment of, oh my gosh, this is what's going on between me and him. I also think relationships are a huge conflict. And I want to talk about conflicts really quick that I think women have. And I've discussed this with quite a few women about conflicts I believe they have consistently. More specifically, 3 major conflicts, and those are time, sex, and relationships. When it comes to time, women are either testers or investors. When it comes to sex, they're either deniers or justifiers. And when it comes to relationships, they're either realists or idealists. And guys, if you know the kind of woman, if you really get to dissect her and you get to find out what she is, whether she's a tester or an investor, a denier, a justifier, a realist, or an idealist when it comes to time, sex, and relationships, you're in like Flint, buddy. But I think dissecting a woman is half the battle. And get your mind out of the gutter. I'm not saying physically dissect her like you're a surgeon. I'm saying like when it comes to the nature of getting to know who she is, you know, and I'm not talking about those typical, you know, Match.com dates of, let me take you out to dinner. Oh, gee, you're a really interesting person. Oh, wow, your dog reminds you of those human being things too. No, I'm talking about really, really digging deep and really, if you really do take an interest in her and a real fucking interest rather than just trying to get into her pants, you really can tell what she really truly wants. And I think that a lot of women have a difficult time finding a good guy these days because a lot of guys are really more interested in the deed rather than her need. And I'm pretty sure that makes sense. Ladies, I'm pretty sure you know what I mean by that. You know, let's not kid ourselves. I'm pretty sure you've dealt with a lot of guys who have come across as, you know, all these dumbasses or all these, you know, these man whores, or oh wow, he's so shallow or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I've done my fair share of shallow activity. And I'm very aware of what I want and what I do not want for my life and for my relationships, if by some miracle I am to get into one. Ever. It seems to me as if whenever I see women, you know, get into a relationship, whether it be on Facebook or otherwise when they post it, like I'm in a relationship with this great guy by the name of something something, I mean, they go ape shit over it, you know, that they want to yell it to the moon. You know, I mean, it's open, it's out there. And, you know, of course, then they'll talk about, you know, oh, well, years and years ago I married the most perfect man, I married the greatest person ever, oh, I've got the best boyfriend ever. Ladies, with all due respect, you don't. You don't have the best man ever. You can believe that all you want, and that's fine, but the truth of the matter is there's always going to be someone bigger, better, and stronger than him, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Same with you. There's going to be someone better than you, physically, mentally, and spiritually as a woman. And but at the same time, the attraction factor is all that matters. If your heart's in the relationship, and it's really in the relationship, and it's just being led on, you know. And what I mean by all that is that it's kind of funny how we take our comedians more seriously these days than our politicians. Chris Rock, for example, he talks about relationships. In this one video on YouTube, he says, married and bored, single and lonely. Relationships aren't that difficult because, you know, he talks about, you know, when you're married, it's really boring. You know, because men talking about barbecue grills and routes to work, women talking about hair coloring and diaper genies, and of course that's a very typical and very shallow thing to say about relationships in general, and marriage in general. I'm not saying that marriage is bad. I mean, I for one don't want it because I just don't see any place for it in this day and age, considering, you know, where we are in humanity today in 2014. When it comes to women in relationships, it seems as if they're always wanting so much. They're setting a lot of, you set a lot of expectations for us guys to follow. no matter what it is. Hold me, love me, kiss me, listen to me. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, down the line, down the line. Us guys, and of course we've been considered shallow. Of course you see all those funny things posted online. How to please a guy: show up naked, bring beer. I mean, for me, I've never been higher drunk in my life. You can keep the beer, show up naked. That's all I can. I mean, I'm that kind of guy. I'm at that age, 25 years young, where I want to be a sexually active male. I mean, the women I've been with, intimately, thankfully, there hasn't been any false expectation. And when it comes to me in relationships, I've told women this consistently, and of course, some of them have been turned off by it, that the most important thing about getting into a relationship, ladies, is to be upfront and honest. And of course, some might roll their eyes and say, yeah, sure, Carter, whatever. But no, I'm dead serious. I think that the most important thing for a woman to understand, and I think that men should practice this as well, is to sit the woman down, and if she says yes, I want to be with you, I want to be your girlfriend, yada yada yada, you should sit her down and be upfront and honest. You should let her know what she's getting herself into before actually, proceeding with the relationship. Because I think a lot of women who get into bad relationships, men abusing them physically, mentally, and spiritually, the whole 9 yards, they get hurt, or women have experienced some form of sexual trauma. 1 out of 5 in this country have. Pretty scary. Of course, it's like, who are they to trust anymore if we can't respect and appreciate our women? We guys, we came from a woman, so why should we have the feeling to disrespect one? Why should we have that motivation to disrespect them if we come from them? So I think what I'm trying to say is, how is a woman supposed to be, there goes my phone, how are women supposed to feel, like they can trust us and they can be honest with us as well if we're not being honest in the first place? And this is coming from a guy who's never been in a relationship. So ladies, I can't give relationship advice, but I can give a certain kind of advice based on what I've seen. I've seen relationships fail. I've seen my friends fall through the cracks, both guys and girls that are my friends who have fallen through the cracks in their relationships because they had false expectations. Oh, he's the love of my life, I want to marry him, or oh, he's so perfect, dude, I'm not happy enough without a girl. The more and more I see that fucking shit, the more turned off I am by it. It seems to me as if, women more than ever want their man to be real. They want him to be present. Of course, they want the strong, sensitive type, but they also want, real. They don't want to fall in love with the character you created. Of course, I have Vanilla Master, and yeah, I'll admit I have my own faults with that. Women want you, the person, not you, the character. And I can only imagine, when women, get into relationships and they either they have a love child with their man, they fall in lust with him, and they have a drunken night and they have a love child together. The child didn't wish to be there. And when, of course, when the father says, well, it's not mine, or, you're going to abort that child, and blah, 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 I can only imagine how it makes a woman feel on the inside. Wow, that really shows how much I mean to you. And how does she expect to fall in love again with some guy if she can't trust you? The father, to pay child support and to alimony payments. Us guys, I don't want to pay any alimony or child support. And of course, us guys, we feel very different about relationships because of how the law is. The law is very, very sexist towards us. If you say to us, or you say to a court, well, he hits me, then of course they'll automatically buy it, based on evidence that they see. For us guys, I think it's more of a sensitive issue, but of course we feel it more in the subconscious part of our minds, while you women view it more vocal about it towards your group of friends, towards, your families, whatever. It seems to me as if what you want is reality. Real fucking people who are present. Us guys want reality too. Us guys want to be held. We want to be cared for. We want to, we want someone to love us, just as you women do. You want to be loved and cared for and provided for, but you also want to nurture and take care of as well. And that's where that motherly figure aura comes in. us guys will never know what it's like to have a child come out of us and realize, yeah, life is now worth living because of this kid I brought into the world. I don't think we'll ever be able to understand, what it's like during an emotional part when your bodies change, when you grow breasts, when you get your period for the first time. You know exactly where you were when that happened. When you lost your virginity for the first time, and you bled. You know where you were that moment you happened. You know when and where it happened. It's a very amazing moment in your life, unless you've been hurt by someone, or you were raped or you were raped, and you were taken against your will, against your consent. I can only imagine, ladies, how horrifying that must have been for those of you who have experienced that. It seems to me as if us guys have been very shallow. We have been very disrespectful, because we'll never know what it's like to really fathom what it's like to get older in a way of, oh my gosh, she got so old. I mean, how the fuck could she wear that? I can't believe the way she's dressed. I mean, oh my god, look at that slut over there. Oh my god, she's such a whore. I mean, us guys, we do say that, hey, check this guy out, what a fag. But I think we are kind of more secretive about it, more so than women are. I think you women aren't afraid to voice your opinions. You're not afraid to voice your opinions, and it's also very difficult to argue with you. It's like, us guys, we can't win in an argument. It is impossible. And I think it comes back to Chris Rock and his comedic routines. He says, with us guys, we feel the need to make sense in an argument. You women won't let a bit of sense, cripple you. You won't let the word called sense, to destroy your motive to argue. I mean, sometimes women save up things to argue about. Oh, he doesn't know that. I'm going to get on him next week on that. Just stuff like that. I mean, I think women set different expectations for us guys. Sometimes even false expectations. I think that's one thing that concerns some of us guys the most. Is we worry, I also speak for myself, about false expectations. That's why I'm as bitter and as bluntly honest as I am to women as I am. And, they already know what they're getting themselves into. Whenever I say, this is just a sexual thing, they understand. If they know that I don't want a wife and I don't want kids, they understand. Because I'm just so forward about it. I don't leave much to the imagination. Don't get me wrong. When it comes to women, like young girls, for example, I'll use this as an example. Women in high school, when they start dating, when they start fooling around and dabbling, we all did in high school. Who didn't? Even though I didn't lose my virginity until I was 20 to a prostitute. That's kind of the time when you really do experiment. And the majority of the guys that you are with during that time are usually the bad boys, or usually the guys who leave something to the imagination, leave something to mystery, the element of mystery. Nice guys, they're easy. You already know what they're like. But when it comes to a bad boy who doesn't seem into you, he doesn't need you, he's the man, he's the alpha, I am who I am and I'm fucking awesome. It's sexy. Isn't it seductive and sexy when a guy who comes off as a bad boy, he just is who he is, and it's sexy. And you see that confidence and that flair. When you see a nice guy who's like, for example, Sarah, I'm always going to be there for you. I care about you so much. I love you so much. It kind of makes you roll your eyes and think, oh my God, what a fucking wuss. I need a man, not a poodle, not a man poodle or a moodle. If you've seen the movie Shiz Out of My League, you know what a moodle is. But usually bad boys aren't the guys that women end up dating. When they meet Mr. Right, they want someone who is not just successful with money. I'm not saying crap like that. Not like sugar daddies. I'm talking. They want someone who's successful with his confidence, with his drive, with his manhood, with his stature, with his status quo in life. That he's confident, that he's assured of himself, that he can be the best man for you. And ladies, I think that when you become the total 10 version of you, you become a beacon for the total 10 man for you. And I, for one, who has been in love with 3 beautiful women in my life, and of course, I've gone 0 for 3 in my life. I haven't been successful with any of them, and that's okay. And I've told, I've told all 3 of them in my way that because of that, I don't ever plan on falling in love again. I don't want to fall in love again, ever. And it's not because I'm giving up or selling myself short. It's because I have a lot to offer many women, and not a lot to offer just one woman. I have honesty to offer them. I have a certain kind of unorthodox friendship to give to them. I'm not a nice guy, once again, but I'm not a bad boy either. I'm willing to listen, but I'm not here to be your guy that's a friend. I've done that already. I'm done with that. I'll be there for you, but not in a mindless, self-indulgent way. And for a person who has dabbled with chauvinism, I apologize. It was foolish in the beginning to be like that, and especially because I believe in my heart in the equality of human beings, both male or female. And women, it seems to me as if, as you get older and you get away from the high school adventure or the college adventure, and if you don't want to be a prostitute for a living or a porn star for a living or anything else in between where sex is your world, you want something more real. You want something that's legitimate and genuine and honest. And that's when orthodox relationships come into play. Date him for a couple of years, get married, have the nice house, a couple of kids, whatever. It'll never be for me. I enjoy sex and porn too much. I enjoy the crave of those things. Am I superficial because of that? Well, that's debatable. I don't think I'm a superficial person. I'm a very passionate man. I'm a very extraordinary man. And I'm a very unorthodox man. And I am legitimately a romantic man. But at the same time, I'm not really a man yet. But I will be a man. I don't know when that day will be, but it will happen. When I can look at myself in the mirror, physically, mentally, and spiritually, and say, you know what, Carter, today you're finally a man. And I look forward to when that day comes. Maybe some of you who are women, or, by society standards, you might think, really, I'm still a girl, I'm not really a woman yet. It has nothing to do with how you look physically or mentally, but how you feel spiritually within yourself. Are you secure enough to say, you know what, I'm now a woman? That's something that I feel like I still need to figure out for myself. And ladies, I feel like, coming from a guy's point of view, make sure you know what you're getting yourself into before getting pregnant, before engaging into a relationship. Make sure that your significant other, whether it be a man, woman, pine cone, car, or otherwise, make sure that it's upfront and it's honest. Because I believe that you deserve that. You deserve straightforward and to the point honesty. Just to be sure and to ascertain everything there is to know about what you're getting into. I wish you all well. Maybe this blog didn't cover everything I wanted to cover. Maybe it did. I'm still not too sure. But maybe us guys will never fully understand women. Maybe women will never fully understand men. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, that whole shenanigan, that whole belief system. But for what it's worth, we can't live with you, and we can't live without you, and vice versa. It's a pretty interesting world we live in. Enjoy. Stay Nilic, forever young and champions. You'll be hearing from me soon. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for more. Later.